It has come to my attention that before this job you have taught, not full time, but like part time. So can you tell me about those other teaching jobs?
Yeah, well, the main one has been 2 years in a row. I worked this past summer and the summer before that at the Salisbury School, which is traditionally an all-boys school in the northwesternmost corner of the state.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a summer program, which is actually co-ed, girls and boys, about 50% international students. So that's where I've been working for the past 2 summers.
And in class you seem to know quite a bit of languages. So does that help, or did that originate from working at that school?
Well, the fact that they're international students is just something fun. I only speak English and a little bit of Spanish, but I'm obsessed with languages, so I try to be theatrical sometimes in class, putting on different accents or saying bits and pieces of languages that I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, let's take it back a few years down memory lane. Is there anyone or anything that made you want to, like, teach people growing up?
Growing up, I always kind of would try to, if I learned something new that I thought was exciting, I'd try to pass it on to other people. And so at some point, it probably annoyed my parents. They're like, okay, you're either going to be, I don't know, a lawyer because I like to argue, that's another thing I like, or you're going to be a teacher because you're always trying to fill other people's heads with information. So it's something that kind of came naturally to me. And I was always an English guy. I loved writing, reading words, playing with words. I always seen the most practical thing was to be a teacher as an English nerd.
As a teacher, what's one of your most memorable moments?
Oh man, there's so many moments. Every group of kids is different, so it brings all kinds of memories. One of the most memorable ones. Let's see. Well, I worked at East Hartford High School last year as an internship. This is part of my graduate program at the University of Connecticut, and that was a tough group of kids I was working with. It was high school, 10th and 11th grade, and there would always be sort of funny moments that would come up in class. Those kids had diverse backgrounds, and they would come in with all kinds of crazy stories. I don't know if they're all appropriate. Well, so I was student teaching the year before that. I'm not sure if I can think right now of a good moment.
Now, when you were teaching at the summer school and your other teaching jobs, like, do you work alone or do you work with?
You know what? I just thought of something that was a good moment that goes along with that question. So, what's cool about the summer school is we do what's called co-teaching, meaning that I'm in a classroom with another person. And actually, it's a really good friend of mine, so I already knew him well, and we both decided we want kind of maybe an environmental focus with the English class we were teaching. We were like, what's something that could get a lot of these kids from all different parts of the world interested? So he said, maybe like an environmental focus. And so what we did was, and this goes along with a really good memory that I had, there were 2 days when we actually took the class outside and just went hiking in the woods to give them inspiration for a writing project that they had to come up with, so they could make a poem or a story, a narrative piece, or something like that. And that was really cool that we actually got to go outside. I would love to do something like that one day in the public school. So that was a really good memory. Getting kids out of the classroom, realizing learning does not just take place within these four walls. It's really important. I wish we could do it more. I wish it was more widely accepted.
Go along with, like, going outside with your students.
Yeah.
What are some of the obstacles you've seen your students overcome?
Thorn bushes. Oh, you mean like in general?
Yeah.
Well, what I try to do as a teacher is, obviously writing is a really big part of any English classroom, and everyone has they're at different levels with their writing. Even, if you have an accelerated class, there's still kids who already know how to use commas 100% and kids who have no idea. So big struggles that I've seen kids overcome is, well, what can I do? I can conference with kids one-on-one to help them out more on that personal basis, or I could try to see what generally issues people have and then mold my instruction to that. So mold the way I teach. Okay, well, it seems like a lot of people have comma issues in your last essay, so let's talk about commas today. So that's something I've seen work well. But it's really good when you can have personalized time. The best time really is when kids, and it's the rarest time because most people don't want to come after school, but when kids do come after school or during lunch, that's the best, because then you have individualized time to work with exactly whatever their needs are, whatever their issues are. And when I was a kid, I didn't do that stuff. I never came in. I was too shy to come into class, or to come in after class or at the end of school. But now, from the teacher's perspective, I see how beneficial that is. I think kids learn a lot more when there's only a couple people in the room, or when it's one-on-one.